going to try to, yeah, I was going to try to find a, one of those GIFs or GIFs or whatever you call them with the Three Musketeers.
Well, it was really funny that you said you posted that, because the first group and I were in where we met, there was another guy in there who was a soul brother, and we just connected. And that's actually, I don't know who started it, but we came up with like the Three Amigos thing, and we used to post pictures of the Three Amigos. So that's why I said in the comment when you posted that, how tuned in is Todd. There he is.
There he is.
Hey, brother.
Wait a minute, let's get him turned on. What's happening? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, this is going to be good. We won't even play the intro. We won't even play the intro. I don't even have my phone. I can't see comments. Hang on.
I can't read them anyway. I don't have Facebook on when I'm Zooming. So if anybody's commenting me, I'm not ignoring you. I'm just not seeing them.
So what, where are you at now? You in Washington or Idaho?
I'm still in Idaho. The Washington thing wasn't meant to be.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's definitely a good thing. It really helped me define like what it is that, like, as a community, how we can support one another when we have special needs.
Yeah.
And I feel like that this was a really good course correction to help me step into where a community where I feel like all sorts of synergies going on, and we're not just surviving, we're actually living and sharing everything that we have, and at the same time being very aware that each of us in this community are multi-talented, multifaceted people, and each of our many gifts find their expression with coexisting with one another.
Right on, man. Let me just drop the mic. It's not working. That was very good. Very good. Very good assessment. Jed, you said that you went through some stuff in the last 24 hours or something like that?
Oh, just these days. I feel like the last days, I mean, often, but each night I've just been waking up feeling a little bit blur, and like I was busy in the night, and just feeling like I'm clearing, yeah. There's quite some density clearing of the collective, and a little bit myself, little bit traces of, I was aware that some of it was just a little bit of the post-fire stress kind of unwinding out of my system, but then quickly moving through and feeling really clear and good. And and I had a quick little Zoom a couple of hours ago, and that was interesting. What we were tuning into a lot was about that, what he just said, really about that there's some threads, there's like some last threads kind of clearing out, a bit to do with the old stuff as the news coming in. There's just a last little trace echoes in the subconscious of some threads, particularly today was to do with codependency versus interdependency and co-creation, and how at one level on the surface they could look very similar, but actually it's chalk and cheese. They're completely different. So that was just something that was kind of came through for us today, that I'm just really touched upon them with that. So seems to be
that resonates, and a lot of people have been spending time alone.
Yeah, it's been such a great time to just hermit up too. I mean, just the sheer amount of digging out that gold from within us has been absolutely invaluable.
It is, man. Like, I don't know how somebody on the outside looking in would feel about a conversation like this, but there's people all over the world that are experiencing stuff, and I would say the vast majority, it's directly related to the work they've done on themselves.
And also it's like there are so many of us, especially those that could be considered like way showers, or those riding literally at the forefront. It's like our whole lives have been dedicated to clearing the matrix and creating pathways so people can come back home within themselves. And so everything that's coming into place is just such a total opposite of what our status quo has been like.
Mm-hmm.
And just everything that we've been talking about so far, it's like it's all coming together for becoming open. So like being able to imagine the possibilities that are actually coming into being for each and every one of us individually, collectively within our tribes, and for humanity as a whole. And these are really the times where it's like the magic is beginning to trickle in. Like right now, it's like drip, drip, drip. And as we're nurturing ourselves and nourishing ourselves on this divine flow of what is manifesting as the new, it's so validating and also so very awareness expanding, tuning in. I'm getting to the key word here that's wanting to become expressed. It's so illuminating to everything that we have known about ourselves, but for whatever reason, maybe it hasn't been expressed outwardly through our human vessels as clearly as we know ourselves. And to be stepping into experiences where there's no disconnect. It's like how we are internally is purely and transparently and clearly and sacredly expressed through our human vessels. And what a great ride this is.
Right. And we're pulling in what's matching our frequency. So every time, even if we go through a little shit, we come out on the other side and we're elevated, and then you have, there's like an instant manifestation.
Further proving the point that shit can indeed be polished.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. How was it going through what we're going through with all those fires going on?
Yeah, I think we've all like individually and collectively different places in a way. I think, I mean, the fires for me were a really fantastic, real in your face, hands-on, down to earth, living metaphor for what was going on. But I think in a way, I would say everybody in a way has been through their own ring of fire.
Yeah.
The other thing I quickly want, because I mean, I say a whole bunch about the fires, but I'm not really prompted to say anything much about. But the thing I just wanted to say that Om was pinging me on too, and the key word is illumination, and I was already getting prompted before he said that to say, so a simple just essence for me in a way, my take on things. So last year we talked about earlier in the year, I felt was a lot about the year, a lot about embodiment. So a lot of our soul journeys in the last number of years really have been really about regathering our soul fragments, pulling them out of trauma, timelines, dimensions, whatever, and regathering all of the different soul fragments and aspects of our greater oversoul, our greater self. And I feel like last year, a lot of that work was actually about finishing that up and integrating them in the embodiment, is also the integration. Yeah. And what I've been getting the last couple of weeks and messages, and Om and I have been sort of getting this together. The other day I was sort of looking for a movie for Ruben and I to watch, my heart son. And I had a feeling, said to Om, well, what comes to mind? Is it one you know? And he said, Stardust. And I looked at the trailer and went, bingo, there's codes in that. And right near the end, I don't want to give it away, but with the movie, the essence of the key message was, she said she was like a fallen star, embodiment. And she said, what do stars do best? They shine. Yeah. And for me, this is the message of this year, is about exploration, expansion, but it really is about illumination, and it is about, this is something Om and I talked about today, it was clearing a bit too, the last traces of the program of hiding, of flying under the radar, those that were targeted individuals, or just, when we were shut down, burned at the stake, whatever, we cleared all that, and it's just the last echo traces of that within our subconscious field. And it's not just really about coming out of hiding, that it really is about stepping forward and shining, that we have this soul integration. And for me, a lot of the essence of the Ring of Fire energy was about truly awakening that heart fire, the dragging energy, really forging the integration of our greater oversoul. And now it's time to really just simply walk forward. I don't even want to say step up or step forward. Let's easily of unfolding, of just stepping forth and shining, and as us, our unique gifts, and then with each other, shoulder to shoulder, walking forward together. And that to me is the essence of what this year is about. So
yeah. Like, was it that said the drip, drip, drip? There's enough of that drip, drip, drip to know anytime something comes up, you blow right through it and the drip gets a little faster. You know, I mean, there's hard evidence
with it as it comes up.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's gotten easier, a hell of a lot easier.
Oh God, yeah.
Well, even on that analogy too, of like with the fires. So finally we got the rains. I knew weeks ago, I felt they're coming in February. They're coming, big rain. And the fire had kind of done what it needed to do. And then the rains, and we had some flooding here in the valley, not bad flooding, but enough. And it washed a lot of the ash and the debris and cleaned the rivers out. They opened up the river mouth here in Tough. And now we have all this murk and filth coming out into the ocean, but it's cleansing, it's dissipating.
Rebirth.
Rebirth, thank you. There you go. So
Rebirth.
yeah.
And I love the fact that, you know, we can have a conversation and something like the fires, you see the metaphoric of it, even though it has a physicality. And, you know, that's what's so phenomenal. I mean, it's the enormity of what we're actually walking into, like was talking about, it's mind-blowing. It's the, you know, the biggest challenge becomes accepting your own power.
I think it always was.
And also how we can step outside our box and expand our thinking and expand our feeling and allow ourselves to see what it is that's coming our way that's just so totally unfamiliar to us at this point, having been like many thousands of years since we've really been in those energy frequencies and had those types of experiences. So this is also a huge awakening and remembrance happening at the same time as our imaginations are being engaged to perform, as I was just saying.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? We don't have to go swing a hammer. We can just imagine our way right into this thing. You know, the power of the imagination.
Mm-hmm.
It's limitless in the limited human perspective, which is quickly accepting that it is limitless in the physical. That's the mind-blowing thing. We know we can do it in dimension and out in the etherics, but to do it in the physical, whoa.
Well, that's where we're at now too, I think, is the tangibility, the visceral, physical of whatever you want to call it, like the new earth, the new conscious, that those gifts, that our imagination being able to bring that into co-creation into this reality. And that's very, and even again with the fires and then the rains, it's already greening up here like you would not believe. Like the rebirth, you said the rebirth, you said the key word. The other thing I'm kind of prompted to ask, because I really haven't had much time or opportunity to I just thought of it. I want to apologize to Paul Boggy Brighton that I haven't got back to him yet about catching up doing an interview, but I haven't had really much time or opportunity. But I'm prompted to kind of ask. I haven't got to listen to very much of interviews with you or with Janine, so I'm kind of prompted to ask a bit of like where what you've been feeling was happening for you, or where you're at. Like you said, you've kind of got a place now for a couple of months, and so I'm just prompted to ask, what's been happening for Todd? What you've been getting in these last days? What just in essence are you feeling?
I think it's about self-worth. You know, it's to me, I think the way I would say it is like accepting your power, accepting the reality that, you know, I don't even know the right word for reality, but the potential, how it works, the mechanics of how it works. And, you know, I'm not saying I could explain it, but, you know, at this certain level between the human aspect and all the rest of the bodies, you can kind of see how it works. And I guess one way to put it would be like Am said, you know, when the shit comes up, deal with it, period. Boom. You're in, you're out, and you expand. And that's just moving faster and faster. It's quantum. So, you know, I think it's, I guess from a human aspect perspective, I would say I know I need to address my shadows as they come. I see the progress, and I see it in other people, and I see it in myself. And then as far as what I do with my time should be something that I align with, and like y'all were saying, co-creating and collaborating, because there seems to be a really powerful catalyst when people come together in the physical. We do all this, and we do it every day. We're doing it now, coming together in the etheric. You know, we're not in physical space. When we're together, it carries a powerful, expansive vibration, and I think that's where I'm at. That's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm seeing people doing, and I'm seeing people making decisions that are, you know, not crazy anymore. And, you know, Vera and Augusta, you're coming over to America now. You know, it's all being done. Yeah, it's all being done on paying it forward and gifting and buying into, for lack of a better word, buying into what is actually not even on the precipice anymore. We're in it. We're in it.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're in a 5D frequency most of the time?
Tangibly so, yes, and it's becoming more and more frequent, especially when I'm consciously tuning into the 5D frequency.
Yeah.
It's showing up like pastel-y, crystalline looking structures in the sky, or I went on a camping trip earlier this week, and so there's some hot springs about 2 hours out from here that the lands in and of themselves are beginning to reclaim themselves and reestablish sacred places as they once were, and what they're going to be once again. And I'm sitting in this hot spring, and it's really just like this big pond filled with this hot spring water. And very tangibly, I felt that I was actually in the healing temple, and I could see the temple grounds, and I could see that there were these temple-like structures on the grounds. The sky was like bright pastel-y. The hills surrounding it, the rocks were alive and dancing, and wow, more's coming out. So like the trees are alive and dancing. The birds are all flying around and helping with administrations, and there's like human type beings there also, like being the people who are like working in this healing temple, and like this feeling of hallowedness, even at the 3D physical level, was just like very strong and present as I'm experiencing this. And yeah, it's just and then within the past couple of weeks, there's been a couple times where I've looked up into the sky, and it's literally been this bright golden shimmering type of effect, like what I can see with my physical eyes. And it's showing up in so many ways.
Yeah, it is. And the sky, the colors in the sky are, I mean, I got here on Tuesday, and I went out there, and man, I stared at it for 45 minutes. I stared at the sun. I didn't squint. It had all these colors coming out, and then like a portal opened up, to the right of it, like a swirl, and it had all these pastel, off-planet looking colors, like you're talking about.
Hmm. I think the animals are also becoming much more communicative and much more willing to like they know they can talk to me because they know my heart is open. I've revealed myself to them, and they say things to me, and they're just like, okay, yeah, we really want to get this redressed and come back together with humans. And so in some ways, it's like uh, there was a moment where there was a gentleman firing his gun off, and all the animals were scared, and I'm just like totally fearless and like, hey, it's okay, come here, I'll help comfort you through this. So it's like they're starting to want to reach out and reconnect. And I'm feeling the same thing with the plants, with the water, with the fires, with the earth, with one another as humans. And it's like it's just like a really big convergence point, all starting to like avalanche and come together.
Yeah, like the dimensions are bleeding into each other, you know?
They're merging. All the
Generations
kingdoms,
dissolving.
yeah, all the kingdoms, all the different kingdoms are really, really joining. The sacred hoop of life is really being rejoined now, and there really is a merging of of the dimensionality. I mean,
Yeah.
there's so much you could say on it all, but I'm not getting specifics to say much at the moment. I'm more just holding space, I think. But yeah, it's what I wanted to say, what you were saying earlier, Todd, just comes to me. It's like basically saying, who is it that says that? Abraham Hicks, about getting in the vortex. We're in the vortex. I feel like we're in the vortex.
I think we are the vortex.
Yeah, well, yes, that's right. Yeah, bingo.
Yeah. So I was talking to Nikki Hammett today, and he was telling me, because he moved, he lived in a house, him and Glenn Ray, for a long time, and they sold it. And I said to him, so did you say goodbye to the elementals on your property, the ogres and the fairies and he said, yeah, actually I talked to him, it was all good. And then he moved to this new house, and they're not in the yard, they're across the street. And he's been talking to him, and he was basically saying the same thing Am was talking about, that they've waited a long time to reconnect with the humans, So this is they're bleeding through.
As we are meeting them halfway.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's also, it's not just us and them, it's the way they're co-creating with one another. Like it's to me, it's the unity codes in living activation now, in living embodiment and experience. And of course, this is future. The whole thing is far bigger than just humanity.
Yeah.
So it's the way that they're also interacting and co-creating each species, element, whatever you want to call it, each kingdom, individually within that kingdom, and then each kingdom with their particularly unique soul frequencies and gifts and talents, and the way that again it's the old whole is greater than the sum of the parts. When the unity codes are in living activation, the unity consciousness, this is like us coming together here. When it comes, there's no agenda. It just comes from a simple, in the moment, in the now, and there's all the old templates none of them fit anymore.
That's right.
And so that co-creation, I see that not just with humanity and these beings, I see with all the different kingdoms and with the galactics or whatever. I just see and experience more and more and more of that living harmony, of that living unity, and that co-creating in harmony rather than co-creating with contrast and interference or whatever. So yeah, much more tangible for me. And that's been happening, increasingly so, but again, very much in the last few months, I think, and very much since this year kind of kicked in.
Right on. Yeah, man. Yeah, I saw a fairy the other night. I mean, really saw the outline of it. It was for just 3 or 4 minutes. It was pretty cool.
Well, even what Om was saying, you know, when Om goes on these trips, and always we love that he has his slideshow, and we'll go through the pictures, and it's always like an energetic activation love fest. It's brilliant. But I also been seeing more and more, like he was saying, how not just, I mean, we see a lot energetically in pictures. You know, there's a ship there, there's that there, there's a Sasquatch. But literally seeing it actually physically showing up more and more and more in the actual physical photograph. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
We're spoon feeding ourselves. We don't want to do it too fast. We might shock our system.
Yeah, exactly. I'm being prompted to show one of the photos. I can actually share a screen here from this camping trip to illustrate what Jed is talking about.
I had the feeling, show some pictures.
Yeah, let's start with that one.
Oh, 727. Nice code.
Oh, yeah. In Idaho?
This is in South Central Oregon.
Oh, yeah.
And that's Om's playing his, it's not a marimba. What is it again? Kalimba? What is it, Om?
Yeah, you got it, a kalimba.
Yeah.
What's a kalimba?
Here, I'll show you.
What the hell is that? Wow. What cultures is that from? Who came up with that? That's cool.
That's a good question. I ought to look it up.
I think it's African, but yeah, look it up. Don't quote me on it. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's beautiful flowing codes. I'm just spontaneously plays and you get, oh, so yeah.
All right.
Mention that coming through in the background with the photo.
Oh yeah, it does kind of paint a beautiful picture like that, doesn't it?
It's very soothing. So you woke up the last couple of nights. I mean, when you woke up, you were beat, like you were doing a bunch of stuff while you were in dream state. That's how I felt.
Yeah, I report similar feelings.
Yeah.
Like the tone of my dreams, like there's always been like a certain color hue was like the predominant colors, and lately they've been bright white and bright gold. And each time that those colors become more prominent, it's like I'm seeing more of like all the preparation that's going into this grand unfolding that we're already in it. And I think that's something that can be really helpful to us at this time, is just to recognize that everything we've been working for, the results of that are unfolding all around us and within us. And it really does need to be said, there's no way that we can fuck this up at this point. It's just a matter of allowing ourselves to let go consciously of whatever we may be attached to, or deal with whatever shadow is hiding underneath the carpet, wherever it is or whatever it is. The sooner that we get that taken care of and just allow ourselves to come back into wholeness, that's really going to smooth out the unfolding as our spiritual teams are like fine-tuning things on their end, so we're not so resistant to it as we become consciously aware that, hey, like this experience is downloading into my presence. So instead of freaking out trying to figure out what to do with it, it's just like, oh, okay, cool, and then just go on our merry way, and then it happens.
Yeah. The kalimba is from South America.
Ah,
There you go.
Thank you, Molly Duran.
Thank you.
Duran. Yeah.
did you say South America?
Yeah. So, I mean, really, energetically, we've already done it.
Mm-hmm.
So now we just get out of the way and let it happen in the physical,
Oh, get into the way.
Huh?
Become the way.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Either way works. But yeah, I just feel like we're unwrapping our presence.
Yeah, I agree with that.
With our presence.
Exactly. Unwrapping our presence with our presence.
It's party time.
Yeah. As we share our gifts, we give some receiving. You know, this was something which I kind of aware of, but it came through deeper yesterday. Was coming through a bit of that open to the flow. There's this, the old things of even service to self and service to others. There's just service, serve us for all, and the same with giving and receiving out of balance. There's not even, it's just, you have to be open to, and this is a lot of us, a lot of healers and all that had hard lessons about this, about giving, but then actually learning to be open to receive.
Yeah.
But really, if you're blocked in either one or the other, then the circle's not complete. And that's a part of the abundance. That's a part of the flow is just the flow. And then there becomes not even question of service to self or service to others or giving and receiving. There's just, okay, that's the key point I want him to bring through.
There's no separation.
No. And then in openness to, so what fuels us, it's like fluid experience in of universal love. We receive a fluid, it's not rigid, stuck, it's in the now. It's a fluid experience of universal love, but then individually from we open to that, it comes through us, and then we have a fluid expression of our unique love.
Yeah.
And that's and so this is a part of the shining forth is that we really open up to the flow that's already there, the abundance that's already there, that flow, and we keep that flow going, that vortex, whatever you want to call it, by open to receiving the gifts from the universe to us and then expressing however those gifts through our unique gifts and then co-creating with others through that. And that's what, this is the thing that really prompted me at the moment to say that is this to really, time to really shine. It's time to really let your soul shine forth and express in whatever way each individual is called for to do. And yeah, anyway.
Well, you know, I think that's a great example too, what you said about healers who give, or gave. Let's put it that way, because there's been a lot of shifting happening. But we all been there when we get to that point, and instead of saying, hey, they don't you know, respect what I do or whatever you want to call it, and we realize that we're getting what we're giving. We're getting the same frequency that we're emitting. And if that frequency is, there's not enough self-value, and you can't come to the understanding that, hey, you're not getting anything, it has nothing to do with anybody. They're just, you know, how it's delivered. Could be delivered a lot of ways, but yeah. And I think more and more people are coming into that, and it's been a struggle. And that's just one example of that energy of integrating, like you said, it's either one or the other extreme, and they're really one and the same, which is the same as service to self, service to others. That's one thing. Like you said, it's just service. That's 0 point. That's integration. Yeah. Merging polarities.
Yeah. And then we experience the contrast of polarity co-creating in harmony rather than in conflict. It's in harmony. It's in contrast to create. You need contrast to create.
Well, the good news is we've got plenty of contrast, And I think we've all got a good dose of that. It's been tried many thousand different ways. 5D is the 5D. You know, can't take any of that 3D with us. But for everything that we have, trouble letting go of and that we surrender, there's a payoff on the other side, which looks nothing like anything we've ever done.
Yeah. And that's really the key, I think, is how does it look? You find out in this moment as it arrives, as it unfolds. And that's part of the magic and the wonder of it too, is that, it's the divine trinity of masculine, feminine, even that we go beyond that. But the Trinity is the divine mother, father, child. And it's the wonder of that divine child in the moment of the wonder of the unknowing. It's the knowing of the unknowing, I call it, or that wonder of that in the moment. Once we drop that, the part of the ego self that wants to know, that is wanting to be in control, and always future projecting from past experience, which no longer holds or is true. Once you just open to that, what we are, that trust, that love, whatever you want to call it, that abundance, that source in the moment, that there's a beauty in that wonder. And even that part of the ego mind, this is something I was seeing coming up the last few days, is really that the part of the mind that it's not our enemy. And what I got clearly, which you were talking before about the imagination, it's bringing in the imaginal mind. We're all part of the I Magi nation. Is that part of the mind that is wanting to control and know and is in fear and, what will happen? That in a way, it was just trying to kind of keep us safe. And it was never really capable of, it was trying to do a job it wasn't simply capable of. And even that, it's more like gently training it or helping it to remember, awakening it to its natural or true role, where that part of the mind fits in with all of our energy. Yeah. And it's like, oh, wow, it starts to open and relax, and it starts to enjoy the wonder and the magic of the not knowing. So even that part of our mind, it's not our enemy. It just was sort of sitting, we were working top down. And once that's kind of released back into, in a way, relegated to the place where it needs to sit, then it can actually open to and begin to relax and enjoy the joy of the experience of the not knowing, of the magic, of the wonder of the child.
Yeah. It's like all of our layers have to embody it. Embody all that stuff, all of our layers. You can't say, okay, ego, you don't exist anymore. You have to actually embody all of your multidimensionality into the ego and fuse it together and do what we do, which is transform shadow to light, basically.
Yeah, because all the universe, like everything, university, there you go. No. Unity in diversity begins within. And so all those aspects and parts of ourself need to be harmonized and aligned and integrated within the self first. And that's anyway, that was a part of it that was prompted to mention. I was clearly seeing the last day or two was that that part of the mind, we vilify it, we try to beat it down or get rid of it or whatever. And it's like, it's understanding that no, it's one of our aspects, a part of our nature that has its gift and it is necessary. It was just that, like with the inverted matrix, we were kind of inverted, and that part of the mind was on the top trying to run the show, and it wasn't ever really happy or comfortable.
We turned upside down. I think we all did a 180.
Yeah,
and all the degrees in between. So, you go out to the forest, right?
Yeah, quite a bit.
And so this is like more and more people are coming up with their or it's coming out, their personal ascension, their what does in the forest, these things that are just powerful. Mm-hmm. When you're in the forest, do you have a lot of animal contact?
Usually it's birds that show up. There's a lot of crows in this area, and ducks and geese. There was even there's a lot of birds called killdeer. They have a very, very beautiful little song. Sometimes you'll see deer. Like a couple times I've been sitting at the hot springs, and there'll be deer hiking around the hills. They even came down into the campsite surrounding these particular hot springs, and Red began to approach them. And if I had just allowed the thing to happen, it would have been really a really beautiful experience to see Red make friends with these deers. Just you know, just more of those things that's breaking down between humans and animals, where it's like humans think that animals are going to attack them, when it's like we're working through that. We're working through those fears about one another, and I think it's also not just the animals that are approaching, making themselves known. It's like how you may hear people talking about, hearing things on the wind, or hearing the water sing, or hearing the trees talk when there's wind blowing through it, things like that. It's like those things are also becoming more pronounced.
Yeah.
And I think also it's like the even just a few hours up in the forest, it's like I can feel more of my actual nature coming to the surface, and feeling at ease and comfort in being more plainly visible and more plainly expressed through my human body.
Yeah.
And the elemental beings, so like the fairies, they've been pretty active too. Like you were talking about seeing an outline of one. A similar thing happened when I was camping over last summer. It was like right the tree above me and my sister, and like I hear this rustling. I look up and I literally see it fly off and go back to its tree.
Wow.
And even the Sasquatch are becoming more like I'll be sitting in the hot spring, and that like they're not physically there, but I can sense that they've projected themselves. They're just standing right there, right at the bank of the spring, and something coming through. Yeah, everything that we've done to heal that separation within ourselves, it's making us more trustworthy,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
much more easier for these different realms to connect with. And it's also as more and more of us humans are getting to the point where like this status quo just isn't working for any of us anymore. It's like it's these connections that are coming in and reminding us of our actual nature. And
When you hit it, that was a really good statement. The fact that, in other words, they're here or whatever, and we're here. It's a different frequency,
mm-hmm,
and the internal work that we do and the responsibility we take
mm-hmm.
lifts us in that frequency. And they're not going to, if they had a choice, have us come into this higher ground. So we know the recipe now,
Mm-hmm.
and I think we've pretty much gotten through the worst of it, unless we're totally ignoring something in our lives, which
It's possible. I don't think that's very likely. I mean, just with everything that we do moment to moment, that's dealing with our shadow, dealing with all of these distortions in our thinking and in our emotions. Whatever needs to be addressed is coming up spontaneously in the moment. So if we're missing something, it won't be missing for very long.
no, it's moving too fast.
And we're much more in this state of surrender and allowing to hold on to it anyway.
Yeah, man, it's getting good. Ana Marie says what exciting times. Yeah, that's right.
Well,
Get
this
used
is
to
what we
this.
came
It's
here for.
there is no separation. Yeah.
I'm
So
not, as usual, I'm not watching. I don't have Facebook on while I'm Zooming, so I'm not seeing the chat. So hello, everybody that's there. But I'm just wondering if anybody's, you're kind of watching it, if there's a particular question or topic or something that you're seeing there that,
nah,
no,
no, we're good.
I'm good.
Janet Selenite Hart made a comment about Yeti equals Earth tunnels, Middle Earth teaching. I'm and I have for 3 or 4 years, slowly with more and more sensitivity, I guess, to inner Earth, and you know, even Antarctica in particular.
Mm-hmm.
That there feels, like there's something that's going to come out from there, and I don't mean like in a disclosure way so much as if the plant kingdom and the animal kingdom and the elemental kingdom and the galactic family is having more and more encounters with us, I would have to believe, as I've heard from time to time, that the inner earth people want to make contact with us as well.
All in due time.
Yeah.
And that's the other part of this, that we as humanity are beginning to remember about ourselves, is first of all how much better we work together as a unified force rather than being divided. And also we're remembering that how we've been living our lives is nothing to do with how we were sacredly intended and designed to function. And that as humanity is choosing more peaceful, more connective, more unifying ways of being, that remembrance of what it is that is core to the creation of humans in the first place will really shine through and become evident.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we got you out of bed. You're on it. You guys got anything else? I appreciate y'all coming on such short notice, but I think that's the best way.
Oh, always. Yeah. We're all like, we just do this spontaneously.
That's right. Yeah, that's part of the magic. Yeah, well,
I do need to clarify a statement I made earlier.
Yeah.
And so you were asking me about me moving to Washington. I use the phrase special needs. To clarify that statement, I would mean unique needs. So not just like,
Yeah.
having people to help out and a place to live, food and all that. It's also like where in that area is my needs for like nature connection and being in places that fulfill my soul.
Yeah.
And that simply wasn't in that area. As I've been rediscovering this winter here in the Boise area, there's so much here that for what I need in the now moment, it's here. I don't have to go anywhere or do anything other than just pack up the car and go.
Yeah. Yeah. Nature's a big, Nikki and I were talking about that today. Just, how do you ground? How do you process something? A lot of people in solitude and, just walking out in nature, not saying a word. That's the best download you can get.
It's the best medicine too. I mean, who else do we need to go for professional advice except for ourselves and mother?
Yeah. Yeah. Right on. All right, man. I'm glad you're safe and clean and, everything's cool in Australia over there. I saw a few of your posts. I know it was pretty rough at times.
Yeah, I mean, we were relatively safe here where we were. I mean, relatively, but yeah, there was anyway, it was a wild ride, but we were doing pretty good through it all mostly. So yeah, I'm kind of like a bit white out. I'm just kind of like holding space in silence and just kind of white energy field here. I'm not getting anything particularly more of that. I'm just being a bit prompted up to you guys, but I'm getting prompted a bit to if you feel it, I feel like to just maybe give people a bit of a slideshow with your kalimba again. Just I feel like there's just what we're talking about being in nature and all of what we're talking about. I feel like there's the codes there and just what we're holding and in those pictures and with the music coming through on with that. So
let's see.
All right.
it's just like having an amazing energy bath, love fest.
So that hillside back here, there's a mother dragon that was roosting with a clutch of eggs, and they gave birth while I was out there. In fact, this is the moment. No shit. In fact, this is the moment when the first egg began to like kind of wobble around and start to crack as the newborn was ready to emerge.
Wow.
A lot of you are probably feeling it. This is a very ancient hub point of where ancient cities. One of the sites where there already is energetically and will be in a way the crystalline cities, and it's one of the meeting places, the gathering places where lots of different tribes and kingdoms are coming together and co-creating in harmony, bringing in the ancient templates updated into the new version, basically the new earth, unity, harmony, co-creating codes moving forward.
Holy.
Yeah. And that's something that comes through too with this is to, the hot springs, the fire and water. So a lot of this has been going on, not just here, but on the planet. A lot about the elements coming back into harmony and balance as well. A lot of it has been so out of balance with the way that we've been abusing water, dealing with, all of that anyway. That's all being, that is also all being dissolving out of the old matrix way of that and the ancient and new way of balance and harmony coming back in. So all of that is that, there's a lot of concern, and understandably in a way, for our planet, but this can all be, in a way, can be healed, but also there's a way of where there's the earth coming through, which is pristine and not damaged or in need of healing. So somehow both.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, I'll just.
Well, if everything else is converging, she's converging too.
Mm-hmm.
So we keep working on ourselves, and the rest will take care of itself.
And if we put our consciousness towards seeing the earth as dying, destroyed, diseased, polluted, everything else. It's not about not having awareness of what's there going on, but it really is we're co-creators. If we put our consciousness towards that energy, then what energy are we putting out to the earth? We're putting an energy of disease and sickness into the earth. So it's to be aware of that, but then to see the pristine earth that is also there, to see her power of healing, and to see the beauty and the healing and the vibrancy, to see her as whole and well. Yeah. That's a, I think so many of the lessons for so many of us, all of us, as we're more and more awakening to our power as creators and co-creators, and that power is truly getting activated now, is to be aware of that power and responsibility for that. So just what are we creating, and what are we creating from old fear minds and patterns? Are we creating from old matrix stories and templates, or are we co-creating from the unity of harmony and beauty in this now? And I don't know.
Right on. Right on.
I think that, you know, it's something to be aware of. That's all I'm prompted to say on that, really.
Absolutely. I think we are. I think that's the thing. There's enough. Wow. I mean, it's phenomenal. Phenomenal.
And that's why I love the music code just comes through on with this through his side. To me, it's always feels like that. It is that it's the beauty, it's the innocence, it's the wonder, it's the magic, it's the harmony. That gentle flow, like you were talking before, like drops falling, but then it's more like raindrops, and then it's like a, you know, gentle waterfall, and then it's like a river, and then it becomes the ocean. And it's, you know, we can do all this with the ease and grace now. That's the thing. Yeah, we're not saying there won't be challenges. Challenges are great. That's how we grow. But they don't have to be getting run over by a Mack truck or slamming into a brick wall.
No.
Matrix challenges, you know. There can be challenge and the joy of like rising to the occasion, or wow, how do I dance? How do I ride this section of rapids down this river? You know, there can be a joy in that. In fun.
Yeah. Right on. Right on, man. Yeah. Well, this is my 5th show today, and I'm about out of juice.
Yeah.
Yes, go
You
get
and
yourself some juju.
It's that what is that thing called? A Kimbala?
Kalimba.
Kalimba. That Kalimba's taking me into dimension, into Delta state.
Excellent.
That was powerful. That was a great way to end the show spontaneously, and yeah, this is what it's all about. This last hour is what it's all about to me. You know, curiosity. You know, innocence, power. Wow, this shit's going down. You guys take care, man. Until the next time.
You too. Thank you.
So much love. Love you, We'll talk soon.
Love you, Todd and Jed.
And everyone out there, thank you for, I felt your energy.
Yes, thank you. Mwah.
Love to all.